Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Okay, that's fine. Right. Just had a quick issue there. Forgot to change the monitor settings since I'm on a different monitor, which is a pain in the ass because I'm currently having to. I'm currently looking at my monitor through my microphone and its stand. So, as I'm sure you can imagine, that is a colossal pain in my backside. Um, Also, Twitch is very much darker than it actually is in game, and I kind of like it. That would be, the game would be better if it was actually darker, but people don't like black, don't like the dark sky being actually dark. Don't ask me why. It's why it'll be interesting when we can stream in 4K. But speaking of which, I'm actually getting a 4K monitor at some point soon. Just got to wait for it to actually turn up. Right. Was I? Yes. Okay, so tomorrow the Vault 94 raids are here. Today I want to go do West Tech. Check my perks real quick. I'm gonna respec my character's special stats at some point. I don't know when though. Whenever I can, well, whenever I've gotten all the actual perks, I'll start fiddling with that to get the setup I want to sort of maximise my character for my build, as there are a lot of things that I kind of need to have I need to sort of write down and look at and go, okay, I need this for this and this for this. These I want active all the time. These I need for crafting, so I need to have enough in whatever skill to allow for that. It's going to get interesting. But I will be... what way am I looking? So, this evening and tomorrow I'm going to be... before I start playing the update, I'm going to put a post out onto one of the Facebook groups that I'm part of to try and find some people to team up with to do the raid. If you want to do the raid with me, I am on PC. I mean, holy shit, that's a lot of dirty water. This place is nasty. Yeah, I've recently reached the build limit of my own camp. And tomorrow they're adding in a whole load of stuff that's like, hey, you can build more in your camp, and I'm like, where am I going to fit it all? So that'll be an interesting thing to try and figure out. Let's put them up there. You might be wondering why I'm using a laser rifle. It's because it is a 3-star legendary. So it does 30% damage to animals. Bats crits do 50% more damage, and it grants me 1 perception. It's not great, but it's not terrible. One of the things that I have noticed very recently is energy weapons suck. Specifically laser rifles. They do piss poor damage comparative to everything else. Not to mention their recoil. Oh god. Yeah, so laser weapons, if you manage to build a laser rifle that functioned very much like this, shot a red laser like that, although that would make no sense, because technically the laser would be continuous until the fusion core, well, the fusion cell drained. That's how lasers work, unless you have them on a pulse, in which case that's a different, that's just weird. Where's it going? Yes, a laser rifle would produce no recoil, as there's no physical mass moving within the weapon system. Nor is there an explosion of propellant to push a projectile down the barrel. Oh! Also, I've noticed that super mutants with laser rifles don't produce any actual lasers. They shoot literally nothing. Like, he's reloading, but watch him shoot. Nothing. Recoil, but no laser. It's weird. I don't know what caused it, but it happened. I've only noticed it this week. Well, since Saturday, I think. Yeah, today we're going to go to West Tech because I've not been there, and I've heard that it's an okay place to get legendaries, although that's really not an issue for me. It's more of an issue trying to get rid of the bloody things for script without running in. Why did you just spawn, for God's sake? God damn it, game. No, for fuck's sake. I'm not doing well today. Not to mention last fucking night. Oh god. I logged in and I was like, I'm going to do the survival challenge for the week. What a fucking palaver that was. It's glitched. Not to mention the fact that someone spawn camped me in my own fucking camp. Cunt. Yeah. So I lost all my stim packs, so I then grinded for like 3 hours to get what I could. It's like, god damn it. Why are camps not fucking safe zones when it comes to the goddamn survival mode? Oh, that's gonna hurt. I was right. Fucker was gonna hit me through the wall then. Best not. Why not discovered this raider camp then? Guess not. Ripper Alley. No, it's the cloth that's stopping my bullet. I can't wait until Bethesda retires this engine and either makes a new one or buys a new one, or however the fuck it works. And they make something that's like, oh yeah, we can do all of these new and better things. It's like, yes, you should have done this a long time ago. But no, you had to keep an engine from the 90s running until, well, at this point it's going to be, well, we're what, halfway through 2019, just over halfway through. It's like, fucking hell. And yes, I understand that they know the engine well and they've modified it heavily. But would it surprise any of you to know that you can still find code in Fallout 4 from Morrowind? Doesn't do anything, it's just there. It's like, why would you keep that? Not to mention, a new engine would be a lot more stable and a lot less broken than this one. But for all the shit that we give this engine and Bethesda for it, it does work, for the most part. And it's easy to use. I mean, when you look at some of the mods that people have made for the Fallout games and the Elder Scrolls games, they're incredible. In fact, in a lot of cases, they're better than what Bethesda have done. Which is kind of shame because it's like, oh, people that aren't getting paid to do this have done a better job than the people that have been doing it for, I don't know, 10, 20 years. Yes. Oh, I hear a beepy boy. Oh, fuck that. Oh well, didn't matter too much. Does that first aid box not exist then? Guess not. Oh, hang on, what's going on? I don't think that's actually supposed to be open, based on the fact that my bullets were just pinging off the back of it. Whoa, a bit close. I tell you what, having this other monitor is a pain in the ass. It throws my depth perception way off. Not to mention the fact that I'm looking through a goddamn stand. You might be like, so you're running a dual monitor setup? Yes, I am. But the other monitor I have has a higher refresh rate, and for some goddamn reason, it runs everything that isn't, you know, from the mid-2000s at 34 frames. Although it is a curved monitor and it is not a gaming monitor in any way. It's a Samsung curved thing. I only paid 100 quid for it, so I needed a monitor. Not gonna lie, it's fine to watch stuff on, but I wouldn't recommend you play anything on it. He's doing some serious damage. Also, the fact that enemy laser weapons no longer, you know, produce lasers makes it very hard to actually identify them at range. So one of the things I've noticed in this game recently is time to kill on everything is redonkulously long, because everything is a health sponge now that there are levels. But weapons only go up to level 45 and level 50 in certain cases, and then you're reliant on perks. You can only ever do X amount of damage, and it doesn't scale well towards the end of the game, which I have a problem with. Because whereas at the start of the game, a level 5 super mutant, when you're level 1, might be 3 shots from a hunting rifle, 2 if you get headshots. I mean, that's alright. It's not great, but we can all understand why that is. What I don't like is when you're at the end of the game and it takes 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like, why? Your scale is way off. Well, it's not that, it's more like 15, but you get my point. The scaling of damage in this game is just terrible. Damn it, game. Not to mention the game has some weird fucking loading issues. Although they're more inherent of the engine rather than anything else. Whoa! The fucking stim pack thing. Boy, would I like some contact grenades in this game. Contact grenades, for those of you that maybe don't know, detonate on impact, which means they're highly bloody useful when you don't want your grenades to roll away. Although most militaries don't use them just in case dumbasses drop them. know that during the Second World War the Japanese used contact grenades. They didn't have people dropping them and blowing themselves up, but the Americans did. Mainly because they weren't trained on the correct use of them when they captured stockpiles of them. So, yeah, it's very dubious of whether troops would actually use them or not. Oh, fuck. Ooh, that was an interesting stuttering game. Okay, so West Tech.
What's that?
They're over this way somewhere.
No fight today. Shatter your brains. Going to be good. No!
Let's clear the place out before we start reading anything. Toxic goo. Probably shouldn't be walking through that. God, that made me jump.
This is no game, human. We win. You die.
You know what? This game so needs a leaning. I mean, I recently went back and played Call of Duty 2 over the space of 2 evenings, and that game has leaning in it. It's from like 2008. It's like, come on. It also looks and plays better than Call of Duty World War 2, which is ironic because it's a mid-2000s game. Now, sure, facial graphics aren't great, but everything else is just better. The story's more interesting. You go to multiple fronts. It's just better in like every way.
Here, human. I I got a treat for you.
Not dog. Stupid super mutant. There he is. Ouch. Yay, more shotgun ammo. Not. Because I don't have a legendary shotgun, I use it only in low level areas.
It was nothing.
I wonder what West Tech was growing things for. Probably to figure out what radiation would do to crops after, you know, nuclear Armageddon. West Tech did things like that. They were a military contractor from the pre-war era. They're the reason that all power armor exists, really. They developed the initial run of T-45, and then the US Army came back with some changes that they wanted. That resulted in T-60, well, T-51, and then again the US, I think it was technically the US Marine Corps that came back and said we need some extra stuff done, and they were like, right, this is T-60. It's like, yay. And then XO1 is technically not a pre-war design. T60 is in fact not T60. What am I on about? The XO1 Fallout New Vegas is an experimental armor, power armor created by the Enclave. Initial development started pre-war, however,
You hurt me.
it wasn't fully constructed until post-war. Making XO1 power armor quite rare by most all standards. However, large factions of the Enclave managed to produce their own. And then they figured they needed some modifications to the armor, so they made XO2, which is the Enclave power armor from Fallout 3, essentially. Okay. Well, that detonated in his face.
What's next, human?
I kind of want to go for a dip in the goo. But I also know that's probably a really bad idea. You know, since it's probably the same kind of goo from Fallout 1. And,
What?
you know, the stuff that initially created the super mutants. FEV and FEV mixed with something else is what sort of created the super mutants. Not pure FEV. I mean, pure FEV creates different types of mutants. Don't know what they're called. They're all the ones that are dead in Vault 87 in Fallout 3. 87? Is that my fault? I think so. There he is. That's what pure FEV does. It just kills you. Well, it heavily mutates you and then kills you. Because the body can't cope with the amount of mutation. But for a super mutant, you need FEV usually. At least in Fallout 1, you needed FEV and a large amount of, like, I guess steroids would be the correct term. Anyway, you get what I mean. Yeah, well, you needed something to fight the bad side of the FEV, which was it would kill you if you didn't, you know, keep it under check. But if you managed to do that, you could end up with super soldiers. Sort of. Not really. Sure, you'd have super soldiers, but they couldn't reproduce. Their intelligence was hit or miss, usually miss. Particularly in the case of Gen 2 and I guess and Gen 3, and the Nightkin sort of went crazy. I wonder if these are Gen 1 super mutants. I mean, it's only... I mean, we know based on the town that it was they only started changing, changing recently. Recently as in before the war. But I mean, the game as we know it takes place 25 years after the bombs drop.
Run away!
Oh shit. Oh shit. Why'd I do that? Oh my god, I threw 2 grenades like a mug. Oh goddamn, I did it again. Although it looked pretty. What mutation did I just get? Why? I mean, I can jump high now. Boing. And I have plus 20 to my carry capacity. I don't particularly care for that. Boing. Thank you for coming to me, Mr. Super Mutant. I appreciate that greatly.
Head hurt. No.
Why has this one got lasers but the other one didn't? Oh, bye-bye head. These look a lot like holding cells. sure I can still hear,
A noise.
yeah, something walking around.
I'm hearing stuff.
Pre-war super mutants.
Let's play, little human.
No, thank you. I like having my limbs attached. Okay, so the local town of Huntersville was affected by the FEV that was clearly leaking into the water system. My real question, however, is, did they do that deliberately? Because it's, well, I mean, it's not exactly easy to get hold of live test subjects to pump full of, I don't know, chemicals that may do some serious damage to said person. Although I say that, the US government pre-war allowed prisoners, both political and domestic, as well as enemy combatants, to be turned into, well, combat robots. Robo-brains, you know what I mean. So, I mean, it's not impossible that they said, yeah, you can shoot this mystery serum into enemy combatants, although that'd actually be a bad idea, because if it actually made them into super soldiers, how would you dispose of them? I mean, granted, apply enough explosives to anything will solve said problem, but big booms aren't exactly easy to hide. Tis interesting. Why would you drink the toxic goo? I mean, if you wanted to get mutations, then yeah, sure. Oh yeah, posters. Control room terminal. Oh god. Okay, so we've got a number of logs, remote door control. What's that? Oh, that's just downstairs, I think. Okay. 16th of July, 77. Not much to report today. The FE tanks are starting to spring some leaks where the feeder lines are connected, but it shouldn't take more than a day or two to swap out the O-rings. Uh-oh. It's messy work, but luckily Spillman drew the short straw, and he'll have to stand ankle deep in the sludge until we can properly get it cleaned up. The FEV is volatile stuff. It degraded and vulcanized oh, it degraded the vulcanized rubber on those seals like it was acid. Strangely, there are no acidic contents to it at all. It must have affected the O-rings on a molecular level. Kind of makes me wonder if it's safe having it pooling up on the floor. The answer would be no. 2nd of the 8th, 77. Chadwell fell into one of those tanks today, poor bastard. He was wearing full biohazard gear, but he was most certainly dead when they pulled him out. The suit must have gotten breached on the way in or something, because he never even came up for air or called for help. They didn't even know he had fallen in until they drained the tank. Man, that twisted look on Chadwell's face, ugh, it gives me the creeps. Just thinking about it, thank God West Tech's giving us the hazard pay bonus, otherwise I'd be out of here. Oh dear. 23rd of the 10th, 77. Holy shit, everything's gone to hell. I can't believe those idiots actually did it. They blew up the goddamn world. Luckily, we were inside the facility when the bombs hit. Supervisor Bradwell begged us to stay with the FEV tanks until he checked with the top brass, but all the communication lines are down. Spillman and I are thinking of bolting, but I guess we'll give Bradwell a day to figure out what to do. It's not like I have a home to go back to anyway. True. So Bradwell must be the military advisor, dog, I don't know, whatever your term is. 30th of the 10th. Bradwell decided to head out and make contact with the US Army in Huntersville. But that was 6 days ago and he hasn't come back. He told us if everything went south to dump the neutralizing agent into the FEB tanks. Spillman and I are following orders to make sure that the job was done before we abandoned West Tech. We confirmed that the liquid in the tanks was neutralized, still highly toxic, but at least the FEV was gone. What? Well, that's it for us. I'm going to stick with Spillman for a while, and hopefully we can make it somewhere safe, wherever that may be. That's not good. Good. Yes. That's not good would be the correct term. Might as well take that access code. Whoops. Ooh, stealth log. I'll take that actually. Analysis terminal. Actually, we'll go do the next bit. Learn the secrets of West Tech. Whoa. Is it just me or is there a weird, like, glow over there? What's that? Weird. I was wondering if maybe it was a reflection, but it didn't look like it. Specimen containment terminal. Test subject control group. Containment unit 01. Name Felicia Gordy, age 48. Weight 162.2 pounds. 5.6 feet. Occupation store clerk, resident Huntersville. Unit 02, breached. 3, empty. 4, Thomas McDivitt, age 34, occupation farmer, Huntersville. Sheila Dorber, I don't know. Names hard. Age 21, waitress, Huntersville. Enrique Salvatore, 43, accountant, Huntersville. Charles Finley, 51, no occupation, so maybe a vet, Huntersville. Unit 8 empty. Containment release. Okay. This is getting interesting. So, people from Huntersville were being rounded up and sent here for some reason. Don't know why. Not yet, anyhow. Advanced Mutations Program. Goal: push FEV into to its practical limits. The Super Mutant Program has shown great promise. By tweaking the genomes, we are able to cultivate different strains of the virus, which produce varying results. Note: most strains produce highly unstable results, few are viable. Only genetic technicians above clearance level 5 are allowed access to the FEV recombinator, given prior approval by Dr. Ellis Kahn. Test subject reports. Okay. Special report containment breach. Special report generated 1st of the 3rd, 78, 10 AM. Holotape recording guaranteed. Test subject AM52 has breached containment. Tracking program initiated. Tracking unit signal weak. Current whereabouts. Longitude and latitude. Subject extremely dangerous. Kill or recapture on sight. So what was that subject's name? 52. Subject 52. Okay. Let's go with subject 48 first. 48 is the closest we've come so far to a sustainable form. Despite the substantial breakthrough, 48 was declared deceased a mere 12 minutes and 43 seconds after being released from the incubation chamber. It seems the current combination strain, all those numbers, rendered the subject's lungs useless without artificial respiration. Sustainable subjects have been difficult to come by, so control experiments will be extremely limited going forward. Several scientists have voiced their displeasure, but this is what we've been handed. Okay, subject 49. One of the genomes of the FEV produced undesirable and fatal results in subject 49. All of the subject's organ organic tissues were eventually replaced with various retinal tissues, rendering it terminal as the majority of the organs ceased to function. Upon further study, it was determined that the FEV5 was contaminated. Subject 50 was treated with FEV. Subject self-terminated 12 days into the program was when its own upper cuspids pierced its mandibular oblongata, leading to rapid loss of organ function. Wait. So its teeth grew into its own face and killed it. Damn. This is disappointing. AM50 seemed to be developing quite well. We shall have to modify the strain and remove the mutation's proclivity towards rapid new development in successionous teeth. 51. We have a near success with test subject 51, while the FEV has produced with multiple scientists have proclaimed nightmare-inducing results. The subject seems more or less biologically stable. Oh dear. 51 seemed capable of surviving on its own, but there were indications that it was constantly in traumatic pain. Indeed, to the point of self-induced terminal harm. Shortly after being left in isolation containment, after its incubation period, an autopsy revealed a hyperactive nervous system that may have been in constant developmental stage since the FEV was administered. That's interesting. Okay, subject 52. Phase 2 combination strain has FEV strain has finally taken to test subject 52 and not resulted in a pile of quivering genetic biowaste. 52 combines traits that resemble a number of different species. The results are disturbing to say the least, but we have learned valuable insight into what these new strains are capable of. Most notable about the subject are the number of ocular organs, allowing the enlarged upper torso a second set of arms, ending in clawed digits, and a large sickle-shaped claw on each inner toe. That is living, stable, functional subject seems to be sustaining itself normally is a major accomplishment for the program. We will keep the subject in isolation containment for observation until 53 has finished incubating. If the two are able to cohabitate along with a standard mutated human test subject, we will try reintroducing them to the Huntersville site for further study. What? They wanted to unleash them? Jesus. Okay, so what it sounds like they created is not a super mutant. Not that we've seen anyway. So, something that had 4 arms and a large claw on its inner toe. Weird. Yeah, nothing I can think of. No. Deathclaw, maybe? Maybe. It didn't say they're human subjects. So, could be. Based on the success with 52, we are confident in tweaking a few genomes. of this strain of FEV. Unfortunately, the subject grew too large to contain. The containment unit broke, but 53 was unharmed. Indeed, despite this and its apparent lack of a discernible head... Wait. Subject 53 was surviving its metamorphosis, far exceeding our expectations. Since our containment units were insufficient to hold the subject, we have arranged for immediate transportation off-site under sedation. Follow-up visits to 53 will be scheduled for observation and recorded. Okay, so what they did there was they created the... What is it? The Flatwoods Monster? I think that's what it is. The one that has no head and is just like a giant rock. Damn. So they created the Flatwoods Monster and... No, not a Wendigo. Either way, damn. And it was all under the supervision of the US military. Ooh. Wait, they interviewed the subjects. What?
Okay, K117M. In your own words, please describe how you feel.
I feel different. Like my mind is not my own.
Do you remember who you were?
Yes, I was, Billy Sievers, a man living in
You don't remember where you're from?
no, what's happening to me? Can you make me better?
I'm asking the questions, K117M. If you're patient, I'll help you, okay?
Yes, I understand.
Good. Good. You're doing really well, K117M. Now, one more question. If we asked you to help us, would you do exactly as we command?
Yes. Anything. I just want to go home. Wife. Where's my wife?
Oh, God. She's fine, K117M. Calm down, please.
No! What have you done to my wife? Bring her to me now! I'll kill all of you!
Code Red in interrogation room B. I repeat, Code Red.
Oh shit, that's this guy. Shit. I don't know if you noticed that, but his voice changed throughout that recording. It peaked a couple times, and then at the end it was definitely old school Super Mutant. Like, Forks. Not the new Super Mutants that we all fucking hate because they sound so crap. But Forks. And the the true sounding super mutants that sound like they are in constant agony. Which, according to Westech, they are! I've got a stupid dumb grin on my face, by the way, when I said that. It's like, don't get me wrong, I'll do some pretty heinous fucking shit, but this is paramount to fucking torture. Nah, I won't torture people. Not even in video games. I mean, what is it? GTA 5 has a torture scene in it, and I was just like, nope. I did it, but I was like, I'm not really gonna play the game much. I'm not gonna play this campaign ever again. Bye. It was just like, yeah, no, that's the line. It's like, that's the line. I'll drop napalm on people in games set in the Vietnam War. Happily. Hell, I'll drop napalm on people in any game. Gotta watch them burn. Like the smell of napalm in the morning. Well, I prefer chloride actually, but, you know, semantics. Ow. Well, I mean, it's got to be that. Okay, technician's logs. So we've got the 3rd of the 5th, 77. Bradwell's all over my ass about getting the decontamination arches up and running. How the hell am I supposed to come up with a decontamination method for something that's totally experimental? To make matters work, Westech HQ refuses to give me the FEV's chemical or organic breakdown, so I'm totally shooting in the dark. My degree in biochemistry never prepared me for this. But I should have known things would be different around here. When I had to get high level clearance just to walk in the door. Damn. 22nd of the 5th, 77. 3 weeks and about 60 compounds later, I've still got nothing. This FEV is some tenacious stuff. I know the FEV is virus based, so I've approached it from that angle. Unfortunately, every antibiotic compound known to man isn't designed to handle something like this. Well, virulent. What I need to come up with is some sort of a booster. A total neuralizing agent that will render the FEV inert. Back to the drawing board. Okay. 11th of the 6th, 77. Picture this. Bradwell standing there in his biohazard suit, yelling at me to get my ass moving on the decontamination arches. Worth sneaks up right behind him and dumps a container of FEV right over his. That should say his, but it says this. Dumps a container of FEV right over this head. You should have seen his face. He freaked the hell out. He was screaming, rolling around on the floor. Hell, I think he was even crying. I let it go on for almost a full minute before I activated the archers and let my neutralizing agent wash him off. Worked like a charm. I'm on crap detail for the next 2 weeks for doing that to him, but it was totally worth it. God damn. Oh, that's funny. I understand why he was pissed though. Fucking hell. 16th of the 6th. Bradwell's still pissed about my decontamination, my demonstration, but at least he's quit shouting at me. I've spent the last few days culturing thousands of gallons of the neutralizing agent, not only for use in the decontamination arches, but into emergency dump tanks. Apparently, the folks back at Westech want a ripcord just in case this place is in danger of being captured or something. If you ask me, they're paranoid, but I just do as I'm told, like a nice little robot. Actually, do those arches work? It's just normal arches. I was wondering if they'd do something different. The answer is no. Whoops. Holding cell terminal. Subject, sick miner. Sick miner. Our subjects have been exposed to FEV, so they will exhibit symptoms of a flu-like virus. If they are at this stage, there's no cause for alarm. Continue monitoring their condition as normal. Sick major. If the subject is having a violent seizure or attack, issue a code blue alert and contact the duty supervisor immediately. Do not attempt any type of resuscitation without direct authorization. Subject death. If a subject dies, do not issue an alarm. Contact the duty supervisor and they will instruct you on what to do with the body. Remember, when handling organic matter, biocontainment procedures are in full effect. Violent. If a subject becomes violent enough to you that you fear for your own safety or the safety of one of our personnel, issue a code red alert and await security. Do not attempt to restrain, sedate, or assist any subject in this state. Holding cell controls. Open, close, begin emergency lockdown. Oh, that sounded fucking cool. Merp. Merp. They need to make a merp sound. Merp. 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 I'm telling you, that's how doors that lock should sound. They should go merp. Come on, we all know this. I was going to say, is that button going to do anything? They're like, boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like, god damn! Making all the things. Okay, that's just the access terminal for that room. Let's go read that last terminal. Oh, there's one here as well. Greenhouse control terminal. Greenhouse initiative. To Greenhouse staff from Westtech Greenhouse Initiative official. Congratulations, your team has been selected for a new pilot program, the Greenhouse Initiative, an extension on the Pan-Immunity Varian project. Goddamn, words are hard. This initiative dares to test the applications of new mutations on edible plants and vegetation. In a controlled environment, your existing facilities will soon receive necessary upgrades for these brave new experiments. A classified memo containing full specifications and arrangements will be forthcoming. Forge ahead and light the way. Will you be the key to ending the plague of world hunger? Anything is possible at Westtech. Brownhair. Okay, hello staff, I'm sure you've seen the announcement, but it is true. We are moving on. The greenhouse's original purpose was to facilitate and control the production of GM foods in a safe, practical manner. This new initiative will be radically shifting away from that. I don't know the full details yet, but I believe it will be a manufactured mutation of some kind. Access and transportation of the mutagen is slow, with lots of red tape. It will be several months before we begin experiments in full swing. I'll be sending out tasks to clean out your greenhouses and prepare new control samples soon. If you have any questions, please come and see me in my office, or wait until the official memo hits your desk. Final note, this initiative does void most of your contracts. Please come see me to discuss your existing terms and any possible transfers. I am more than happy to address any concerns. Sincerely, Dr. Wilfred Domont, PhD. Huh. So they were experimenting with FEV on plant life, as well as people and creatures. Interesting. Okay, analysis terminal. Water quality report. Error. What was this one? Water analysis. Water analysis report of field test site 3A, Huntersville. The approved FEV strain has been introduced to the Huntersville water supply. While chlorine dioxide content has been reduced slightly to decrease its effectiveness at disinfecting the virus. Oh. It's the chlorine? Okay, now. Go for a swim in a fucking swimming pool, you'd be fine. No noticeable difference in water quality should be discernible by the population. We predict infection to be widespread among the test subjects, but due to the nature of this strain, the results may appear slower than the concentrated lab strain. Long-term, physical attributes of the test subjects should greatly exceed average human levels with none of the side effects of previous lab trials. Formula adjustments. After the incident involving an unauthorized desertion from FTS 3 Alpha, there is a desire coming from way up that we come up with a solution that obviates the need to terminate valuable test subjects. God, what is going on? I can't read today. The proposed solution is to introduce a pheromonic compound to mark gestating hosts. This way, if one gets loose again, we can use the hounds to track them down instead of the alternative. Change of course. The powers that have decided that termination is the only viable solution to unauthorized desertion of test subjects. It has been determined that adding the pheromonic compound to the formula has the unfortunate side effect of producing a powerful and rather distinct scent that may draw curiosity to the site, which is the direct contradiction to the intended effect of the quarantine. The task has been placed on hold, but will likely be assigned to another department for further experimentation. So our super mutant stinky boys then. Well, I mean, I guess they would be, considering, you know, they're mutated or... Okay, so that's West Tech. Actually, no, there's one thing I need to do. Oh god! That's 125 plus. Fucking hell. Like, I was expecting it to be fast, but Jesus! That was a bit redonkulous. Okay. Right, one more thing to do here. Requests approval. West Tech message delivery system request approved. Hello, this is the automated message from West Tech. You received your recent request has been approved. Have a nice day. What was the request? Security protection upgrades. New requests for at least 3 security protectrons for added security and secure coverage of facility. Our staff currently does not have enough time to man the decontamination arches and patrol the facility and exterior grounds. Pods can be placed in the security office. Existing maintenance crews will be sufficient for the requested routes. For the request. Protectron controls.
Protectron on duty. protect, and serve.
Let's see what the front desk terminal says. No tours. Another reminder, please be more vigilant of uninvited guests entering the lobby. We had an incident this morning where a random stranger entered the complex and approached the front desk. They looked and appeared like they were ready for an interview. Suit and tie, briefcase. They said they were here for a company tour. This person was not on the list of names for the day, and the security office was notified immediately. Remember, this building is a secure facility. We are prime targets for corporate espionage, sabotage, or investigative reporting. If you see something, say something. Intermail. Subject: recruitment. To Richard Birch from Michelle Ginsby, recruitment. Look, Dick, I know you think it's funny throwing the B5 degree kids my way, but I'm sick of it. The best candidate we've had in months was Ella Ames, who, as I'm sure you remember, rejected us. No thanks to you and your half-assed outreach. I've given you one last chance to prove you're good at your job. Her father will be lucky if he sees the end of the month. Once he's gone, you need to be there to point her in the right direction. You've got her address, but from what I'm hearing, she's also joined up with those Free States fanatics. Ah, yes. If she's not at home, she's got a bunker somewhere. So find that location. We need her. Once she's here, then we can talk promotion. Michelle. Ooh. Well, they don't sound like particularly fun people. In fact, they sound rather aggressive. And not particularly kind. But I totally get it. When you give someone a job, and it is a very particular job, you know, like hiring on new staff, and they don't do it, you kind of gotta be like, the fuck? Dude, I hired you to do this job. Fucking do it. You shit cunt. Something died. Ow. What? I get smacked by a super mutant that's invisible. Oh, they all respawn. Oh God! Run away! Shot him in the foot. Oh yeah. Oof. Crashed space station. Hang on, did it crash before the war? I mean, it might have done. Or is that supposed to be after the war? They put a pin there saying, "Oh yes, that's where the space station crashed." Whoops. Let's head back to camp and finish up for the evening, as I need to go eat. It's like 10 o'clock and I still need to go eat. Yes, I'm crap at this sort of thing. Well, I mean eating at a reasonable time. Oh well. Although, this is the first time I've streamed in like 2 weeks. Yeah, it's kind of bad. Oh, yeah. Let me show you real quick the bugged challenge. So, weekly, 2 or 3, yeah, it says, yeah, I've done 3. So, I'm probably not going to be able to finish that. Which is a pain in the ass, but not much I can really do about that. So yeah. Right. I'm gonna finish up. I'm gonna finish. I will see you tomorrow, actually, since the update's gonna drop. So have a nice evening, and tune in next time. Bye. Bye.